right, shalom, shalom. First and foremost, before I begin this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to the Most High and the proper names in the Paleo Hebrew tongue. I want to say Kal Halayim, La Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakakadash Ma'amath. Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, whom the world eagerly and willingly call God of Jehovah. Bahashem meaning in the name of. Yahweh Shai meaning he who delivers, whom the world eagerly and willingly call JC today. I want to give a double honor to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone who rule well, and another double honor to my elder as well, Aharawan bin Yasha Allah of the Lions Den Camp here in Jacksonville, Florida. Salutations to the 144,000 hopeful elect pushing his truth across the four winds, and to the 1/3 remnant believers on Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, Shalom, Shalom. It's going to be a quick lesson put together through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bashim Al Shai, and I pray to be edifying. Salakia. Salakia, I thought I heard somebody opening at my front door. But all right, so I was reading an article the other day, and that article was basically that article was basically about the United States swapping out their ICBM, you know, the ICBM that they currently had. What that they had was the U.S. Minuteman III, and those missiles were like 57 years old, roughly 57 years old. So they basically changing them out for a new ICBM, and it's called the LGM-35A Sentinel. It says it's the U.S. Air Force's new intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, designed to replace the aging Minuteman III by the early 2030s. Okay, so they basically trying to do it by 2030, but the article that I read this week, you know, so much going on, they basically said that they already replaced them. So they saying they trying to replace all of them by 2030s. Developed by the Northrop Grumman, it modernizes the land-based leg of the nuclear triad, which improve accuracy, security, and range with expected service through 2075. Salaki, I got a white line on my screen. Despite significant cost overruns and delays leading to a major program restructuring, it remains a critical modernized deterrent. So, the missile tests that Russia, Iran, and military parties, or whatever the case may be, that they've been doing for all these years, America has basically been falling behind the other countries when it comes to these tests, these war game tests, these missile tests. And all the other nations are basically ramping up production, and they passing all their tests when it comes to their missiles. You see what I'm saying? So basically, America is trying to keep up, you know, to what you have Putin and his hypersonic missiles, his supersonic laser guided missiles could maneuver in the air. He also has a nuclear powered missile that stays in orbit. It never comes down. It just keeps it stays in orbit. It stays in orbit until they basically give it a target to hit, and then it goes and hit that target. And we try to send another missile to intercept it. It just maneuvers around that missile. You see what I'm saying? So right. So basically, America has a new ICBM called the 35A Sentinel that's going to replace the Minuteman III. Right, and I'm gonna get a few precepts in the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50 and verse 9. It says, "For lo, I will raise and to cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken." So no matter what you do, no matter how no matter how much you try to basically ramp up your technology, or to use AI to basically give you new technology or ramp up weapons productions, prophecy is still going to come to pass. And it says the Lord is going to cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations. So, all the nations that's listed, we all know. We have Russia, Iran, China, North Korea, and then you're gonna have the beast that's going to hate the whore, which NATO is going to turn on America and basically come against this place. Right? It says, and from thence she shall be taken, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. So all those missiles are going to hit their mark. They're going to be laser guided. They're going to have the spirit of the Lord on them to basically hit their mark. And at the same time, simultaneously, Yahweh Shema Shai is going to cause the weapons of this place to fail. So prophecy could come to pass. It says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil. All that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith the Lord. Because ye were glad, because ye rejoiced, O ye destroyers of my inheritance, because ye are grown fat as the heifer at grass and bellow as a bull. So right, it was as stated in the book of Obadiah, they was happy at the destruction of the Lord's people. Us basically being sold across the four corners of the earth via slave ship. Falling from our high state and basically becoming the tail. They were glad at the destruction of the Lord's heritage. It is stated in the book of Psalms, chapter 83. They were confederate against thee, and they have basically grown fat. Off basically benefiting from our slavery for hundreds of years. Imagine living in a place where you ain't got to pay no rent, you ain't got to pay no bills. Everything. You have servants that just work for you. From after a few generations, you're gonna be rich. After 30 years, you're gonna be rich. You see what I'm saying? If you got farms of people basically picking fruit and picking cotton and stuff like that, you're gonna be rich after 30 years. So imagine, how this devil basically benefited from us for all these years. It says, because you were glad, because you will rejoice, O ye destroyers of my heritage, because you are grown fat as the heifer at grass, and bellow as bulls. Your mother shall be sore confounded. She that bare you shall be ashamed. Behold, the hindermost of the nations shall be a wilderness, a dry land and a desert. Right? And the mother that birthed this place was Great Britain. So all these nations are going to turn against, the whore that rode upon the beast, Babylon, America, and shoot their arrows over here. It says, because of the wrath of the Lord, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. So this place is going to be wholly desolate. The Lord is going to destroy this place in its in its entirety. So right, it says, every one that goeth by Babylon shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Right, and you have some Christians say that this scripture is talking about the old world Babylon, but no, the Lord said it's going to be wholly desolate. Nobody's going to dwell in Babylon. And people are living in the old world Babylon today, which is modern day Iraq, right? So, right, it's going to be wholly desolate. It says, verse 14, put yourself in array against Babylon round about. All ye that bend a bow, shoot at her. Spare no arrows, for she have sinned against the Lord. So, right, and that's just what it is. So the Lord basically is going to allow all these nations to come against Babylon and to basically destroy it. What it says, her sins have reached into heaven. So now it's the time to where Yahweh Shema Shai is finna recompense her iniquity in her bosom. All right. Get Joel chapter 3 and verse 9. It says, proclaim ye this among the Gentiles, prepare war, wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And you see all these nations getting ready for war. You have DJT, Donald Trump, Nero. He's basically moving in the spirit of a teenager with power, coming at all the other nations, talking smack to the United Kingdom, the UK, because they wasn't ready to jump up and help. You got Iran telling the other nations that you let them use your military bases to send strikes over here. We coming for y'all. The Strait of Hormuz ain't even closed, but people scared to go through it because they're not trying to get hit by either side. So it gets to a point to where this man, Yahweh Shema Shai, is using this man to bring prophecy to pass. And we see it. It says, verse 10, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say I am strong. So, right, you have these nations putting all their money into missiles. You got Putin over there benefiting off of the war in Iran, selling them oil. And in return, he just got 480 drones that he just sent over there to the Ukraine and started burning their shit down the same day he got it, yesterday. You see what I'm saying? And now the news, the media ain't know him or what he doing, So he's in his right lot. What it says, Yahweh Shema Shah in the book of Ezekiel chapter 38 said that he was going to cause this man to be a guard unto many nations. He's going to be a big brother to many nations. He's going to come through and help many nations. He's going to stand behind them, to fight against this bully, the bully being America. So it says what? Let the weak say I am strong. Now you got Iran saying we ain't even thinking about surrendering. He said you could take that. They say you could take that thought to the grave. They raised up the red flag of revenge. They say you killed our Ayatollah. Now we specifically, you always gonna be in our view. You see what I'm saying? It's all right, and that's the mindset that these nations have. The weak is saying they're strong. They no longer finna just let America bully them. They starting to push back and starting to fight back. And now they on some kamikaze. It is what it is. Because everybody know what's going to happen if they would just surrender and give, all power over to, American government. What's going to happen? Children going to be trafficked, piece-gated, all in the, all in them files. You see what I'm saying? Women's rights movement going to be all up over there. And now next thing you know, all of the damn, the Muslims going to be on some sodomite stuff, some LGBTX stuff, and all the best lands that they have over there are going to be occupied by Edomites. You see what I'm saying? They're trying to go over there and gentrify those people's neighborhoods, basically. So it says, verse 11, assemble yourselves and come all ye heathen and gather yourselves together round about thither, cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Lord. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the nations round about. So, right, the Lord says he's going to cause them to come into the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, meaning the Lord's judgment. You see it. In Iran, you got people fighting in Lebanon. All it's going to take is for war to break out in Syria. And all these other nations going to come up and be right in their lot. Be right in their place, fighting each other, and then the Lord gonna pull up and want to fight. 2nd Ezra chapter 13 in the midst of World War III. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for the wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decisions. All right, and that's just what it is. That's what it is, man. The day of the Lord is near, and it is at hand. So these are the words that we tell our people, that America is about to be destroyed. This is the book of 2nd Ezra, chapter 15 and verse 1. Behold, speak thou in the ears of my people the words of prophecy, which I will put in thy mouth, saith the Lord, and cause them to be written in paper, for they are faithful and true. It says, fear not the imaginations against thee, let not the incredulity of them trouble thee that speak against thee, for all the unfaithful shall die in their unfaithfulness. All right, the incredulity of our people, the unbelief. They're going to constantly come up against us while we're trying to tell them this word, calling us what? Bum black Hebrew Israelites, saying that we screaming on the streets, telling them that we, what they saying, we yelling at them or whatever case may be. Well, that's not the case. We speaking the words in which the Lord have given us, to speak to our people, to warn them on the judgment that's coming to the heathen of our nation. Let them know that our captivity is over and that the Lord is going to start judging the heathen. All right? The Lord is going to start judging the heathen. So now your best bet would be to repent and come out of the ways of life that you've been basically living, that was basically put on you by way of these heathen, pushing these same ideologies. It says, for wickedness have exceedingly polluted the whole earth, and their hurtful works are fulfilled. So the Lord only gonna just be quiet about it for so long, before it's a wrap. It says, therefore, said the Lord, I will hold my tongue no more as touching their wickedness, which they profanely commit, neither will I suffer them in those things in which they wickedly exercise themselves. Behold, The innocent and righteous blood crieth unto me, and the souls of the just complain continually. So, right, that's just what it is, man. The Lord only gonna sit quiet for so long, you know, before we see him start to judge the wicked of the earth. So now he's gonna judge the wicked of the earth, who's basically been reigning for so long, and they ain't been punished. Now he's gonna be punished. Now his enterprise is finna fall. They say America first, but it's really Israel first. You see what I'm saying? And they constantly bringing war into other nations. But guess what? Yahweh Shem Shai is finna bring war to you. You ain't finna be a virgin no more. The virgin daughter of Babylon. Ain't no war touch this place. Well, guess what? Missiles gonna touch this place, and it's finna be a wrap. Your time coming, and you finna see her fully move in the spirit of being a harlot. Once all the other nations get their turn via these missiles, ICBM. Your heart's desire is to put boots on the ground in Tehran, but Yahweh Shem Shai gonna put boots on the ground over here. It's all right. Verse 9, and therefore saith the Lord, I will surely avenge them and receive unto them all the innocent blood from among them. And that's just what it is. So everything that you did to us, Yahweh Shem Shai, is going to cause the other nations to do it to you. Bit by bit until he consume you. Which it's nothing for the Lord to, tell Putin, wake him up in the morning, hey, send that Satan 1 and that Satan 2. Everybody send it right now. Nah, Yahweh Shem Shai, he gonna do it bit by bit. The plagues gonna come upon you. The fear gonna come upon you. The desolation gonna come upon you in its totality when the time comes. The mandate of the MOTB gonna come upon you. Got to deal with that fear. The famine, all these things, Yahweh Shem Shai bringing. Right, I'm gonna skip all the way to verse 14. It says, woe to the world and them that dwell therein, for the sword and their destruction drive nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. Right, martial law, civil war, neighbor against neighbor, country against country, kingdom against kingdom, realm against realm. For the sword and their destruction drive nigh, and one people shall stand up to fight against another, and swords in their hand. For there shall be sedition among men, and invading one another. They shall not regard their kings nor princes, and the course of their action shall stand in their power. Right, so they're gonna do whatever their hearts desire in that day. Whatever they couldn't do because out of fear of the police, out of fear of going to jail, prison. These are going to be the very same things that they run to do. Right, it says. Verse 17, a man shall desire to go into a city and shall not be able. Right, martial law. It says, and a man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. All right, it's going to be food shortages. People are trying to run to your house. You're going to see every single door kicked down in the neighborhood, but the door where the hopeful elected nation of Israel dwell. They door ain't gonna be touched. It's gonna be a spirit on these people to where they don't even want to, enter into the Lord's house. The Lord's door might be invisible to the wicked. Might walk past with a wicked spirit, and a righteous energy just gonna tell them don't even think about going in this house because whatever in this house is dangerous. Whole time behind that door is you and your family reading and studying. Calling on the names of Yahweh Shem Shai, praying, in that house. And that house is going to be protected. Right, verse 20. Behold, saith Yahweh Shem Shai, I will call together all the kings of the earth to reverence me, which are from the rising of the sun, from the south, from the east, and Lebanon, to turn themselves one against another and repay the things that they have done to them. Right, World War III. The Lord's going to cause all these nations, to start the fight. And in the midst of the fighting, he gonna be sending out judgment. Goddamn, wicked Eve, somewhere in war, committing adultery. Did her husband dirty. Thinking that she just going to war, get picked up by some damn Iranians Now you a toy. You know, now you over there traffic somewhere in Russia. Now you a toy. You get what I'm saying? Over there with them North Koreans. You know, the damn wicked small hatter. Ain't never had to worry about nothing. Now his children in captivity, a real captivity, not that fake shit they had going on in the Gaza. You know, talking about some, hostages. All Esau got to do is just, lie. Now you going through what you've been putting the whole world through. People, children down missing the whole time. They, thinking or whatever the whole time. No evidence ever come out with their children. It's all right, and that's the wickedness of now you gonna have to know the loss of children. It's all right. It says, verse 21, like as they do yet this day unto my chosen, so will I do also in recompense in their bosom. Thus said the Lord Yahweh. It's all right, and it's only gonna be the beginning. It's only gonna be the beginning because you're gonna go through it in this life, and then you're gonna have to go through it in every single life for the next 1,000 years. So it's only the beginning. And every time you come back, it's going to be pain, sorrow, and torment. Through the spirit and power of Yahweh Shem Shah for all the things that you have done to his children. Now I'm going to skip all the way to verse 40. Because you have the small headers, they got something called the Samson option. Go look it up. It's called the Samson option. Now the Samson option is, if they can't have it, can't nobody have it. It involves straight nuclear ICBMs, 80 to 100 of them. If they can't have it, it's called the Samson option. They launching all of them at the whole world. You see that on the 1968 Planet of the Apes at the end of that movie. They couldn't have it, so they set off an ICBM so what couldn't nobody have it. That's their mindset. That's a mindset of these devils. So with that being said, I forgot why I was bringing it up. Yeah, the Samson option. Go look it up. If they can't have it, they say they're just gonna nuke every damn thing. Hey, verse 40, the great and mighty cloud shall be lifted up full of wrath, and the stars, that they may make all the earth afraid, and them that dwell therein. So you see that strike that America just did on Iran and hit the oil facility. It looked like a giant mushroom cloud. So when these nukes start hitting, it's going to be a giant mushroom cloud, that's going to be lifted up. And they're going to make all the earth afraid, especially all the ones that's going to hit Babylon. Just imagine that. Imagine that, seeing that thing hit. Boom! See what I'm saying? As soon as it hit, your eardrums burst. Now you can't hear nothing. Your ears bleeding. You just seeing that destroying wind come your way and get ready to sweep you up. You see the mushroom cloud go up, but the elect seeing it from the from the firmament, and the elect seeing it from the firmament. But you who was wicked on this side, you getting front row seats to the destruction. You see it in 3D, but the elect seeing it from the firmament. It says, and they shall make all the earth afraid, and them that dwells therein, and they shall pour out over every high and eminent place and horrible stars. So they're going to be laser guided to hit their mark, their target, those missiles. But Ezra called it a star. It says fire and hell and fleeing swords, a sword that can fly, a fleeing sword, a ICBM. And many waters, that all fields may be full, and all rivers with the abundance of great waters. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills. I think it says that in the book of Joel, chapter 2. And they shall break down the cities and walls, mountains and hills, trees of the wood, and the grass of the meadows, and their corn. And they shall go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. They're going to go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. You're going to get an alert, on probably in your brain chip, ICBMs, 50 minutes out, 15 minutes out, 30 minutes out. Ain't gonna be no taking cover, you know. Ain't gonna be no taking cover. And if you do have a bunker here, you know, it ain't gonna save you. You know, it's gonna put you right in the oven. You're gonna be in a slow cooker. You see what I'm saying? So, all right, they're going to go steadfastly unto Babylon and make her afraid. They shall come to her and besiege her. The star and all wrath shall they pour out upon her. Then shall the dust and smoke go up unto the heaven. And all they that be about her shall bewail her. So, all right, Revelation chapter 18. All right, the mushroom cloud going to go up. This place is going to be destroyed. It's going to be hit by 200 million warheads, according to Revelations chapter 9. 200,000, the number of the army of the horsemen. So, all right. So we know what's coming to pass, man. The book of Isaiah chapter 13. Isaiah 13 starting at 6. It says, Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. So, all right. This is going to be the day of the Lord. It says, woe unto you that desire the day of the Lord, to what end is it for you? Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. And they shall be afraid, pangs and sorrow shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as a woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed one at another. Their faces shall be as flames. Right, because they thought they was the big bad bully. They thought they had all the ICBMs, and they thought they couldn't be touched. You know what I'm saying? And when you see somebody that's always talking mess about what they can do, it's nothing but a reflection of all their insecurities, of fear. You know, they get in fear. They get in fear and they start barking. You know, or hissing like a cat. But you know, but sometimes it could be a tactic to basically try to keep your back against the wall. To try to, he might hit me too hard. I might, you see what I'm saying? But it's a different type of individuals out there. You have an individual, when he's scared, when his heart starts to beat, he become a new creature. So fear is what's going to be the very driving force to make him knock your ass out. And that's what Iran at right now. They back against the wall. And this devil, he gonna try to put the kings and the priests of this world back against the wall, you know. But he don't know that those same kings and priests, those princes, belong to Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai, and Yahushai is going to be with them. So right, Judah is a lion's whelp. Who shall rouse him up? And Esau is going to have the mindset to think that he can rouse him up. He going to try to fix the world and fix his own land at the same time. You know, so he's going to be stretching himself thin. Because this little war with Iran ain't nothing compared to when you come and try to make war with the Lord's elect. So you try to make war with the Lord's elect, and you see a brother flying, you know, and having spiritual power, and then they ain't never had shit. Oh yeah, it's gonna be a real fun game. You know, it's gonna be a real fun game through the spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai. So all right, man. Where were we? It's gonna be a destruction. Their faces gonna be as flames, you know, because you know America gonna get their ICBMs off too. You know, they gonna get theirs off too. But Yahweh Ba'ashim Yahushai is gonna cause the majority of the world's ICBMs to hit this place, and they ain't telling you how many numbers they got. They making them every day. They multiplying them every day. You see, Iran just gave 480 of them to Russia, and Russia shot them off the same day. You got Zelensky over there crying. So right, his face is going to be as flames. It says, behold, verse 9, the day of the Lord cometh cruel, both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof out of it. All right. It says, for the stars of heaven and the constellations thereof shall not give their light. The sun shall be darkened in its going forth, and the moon shall not cause her light to shine. And I will punish the world for their evil, and the world for their iniquity, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease, and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. So right, all the prideful of this nation, all the prideful around the world that just think they got it all together, think that they can't be touched. The Lord gonna bring your pride all the way low. He's gonna cause the what it says, and I will cause the arrogancy of the proud to cease and will lay low the haughtiness of the terrible. So right, Esau Edom, man, he gonna be humble. He gonna be humble. And when he finally realized that he ain't got it how he thought he had it, you had that one person you think you could fight until you got in the fight. And you fought in so long, you just think that you could fight until you start getting hit. I done been there plenty of times. You see what I'm saying? Then you gotta get humbled again. So right, that's how Esau finna be when he finna get what he finna get from these damn Iranians. Just like he thought he was finna just go in Vietnam and just do what he wanted, you know what I'm saying? Until he got introduced to guerrilla warfare. Now he's finna get introduced to something different. He's finna get he's finna run into the right bully. You got people out here that bully bullies. He finna get bullied because he finna try to bully Iran. Then he gonna get bullied by the whole world, him and Israel. So right, verse 12, I will make a man more precious than fine gold, even a man than the golden wedge of Ophir. Right, the man of the Lord is going to be more precious than fine gold, because we're going to have the Spirit of the Lord. So we just sitting back waiting patiently, on our watchtower, while everybody think that think that we ain't nothing, think that we ain't got it. Yahweh Shemashah is going to show them otherwise. It says, therefore, I will shake the heavens, and the earth shall remove out of her place the wrath of the Lord of hosts in the day of his fierce anger. He's going to shake the world. The earth is going to reel to and fro like a drunkard when those missiles start hitting. And it shall be as a chased roe, and as a sheep that no man taketh up. Then shall every man turn to his own people, and flee every one into his own land. And that's what it is, man. Everybody, you see Dubai, what's going on in Dubai. I got people that are basically, sup with every day that's, stranded in Dubai. So every one that is found shall be thrust through, and every one that is joined unto them shall fall by the sword. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. That's what's going to happen when they come over here. They're going to do exactly what you've been doing the whole time. Their children also shall be dashed to pieces before their eyes. Their houses shall be spoiled, and their wives ravished. Behold, I will stir up the Medes against them, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight. The only thing going to be in those Russians and those Iranians' mind is that they have to destroy this place in order to move forward. And they ain't doing nothing but the bidding of Yahweh Shemashah, because they destroying it for him. And then guess what? One that was never thought of is going to sit on a throne, and that's Yahweh Shai. Their bows also shall dash the young man to pieces, and they shall have no pity on the fruit of the womb. Their eyes shall not spare children. They're going to see this place as a roach infestation. You got a hell of a lot of roaches. You get the itching, and they're like, nah, it's going to be a genocide tonight. You can go to the store, get all type of roach traps and powder and all type of, all type of things. That's the mindset they're going to have when they get to shooting off these ICBMs. They're going to denuclearize the earth. Right? They're going to denuclearize the earth for Yahweh Shemashah as well. They're going to cleanse the earth, that fire, that fire angels, the cleansing, cleanse the air with it. Right? It says, verse 19, at Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, the beauty of the Chaldees' excellency, shall be as one God overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. Right? Sodom and Gomorrah ain't never been inhabited since then. It says, it shall never be inhabited, neither shall it be dwelt in from generation to generation, neither shall the Arabian pitch tent there, neither shall the shepherds make their fold there. So, right, that's just what it is. So this place is going to be utterly destroyed with ICBM, thermonuclear fire, So, right, ain't no man can turn it back. It's coming, and nobody's going to be able to turn it back. So I'm going to get that in the book of 2nd Esdras, chapter 16, and verse 13. Verse 12, The earth quaketh, and the foundations thereof. The sea ariseth with waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled. And the fishes thereof also before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. For strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrow that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the world. Behold, the plagues are sent, and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Right, the Lord's arrows, his intercontinental ballistic missiles, are going to be shot from one end of the earth to the other end of the earth in its totality. And Babylon, the glory of kingdoms, shall be as when Yahweh shall overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah. I pray this lesson was edifying. Shalom, on to the next.